over the Gaza Strip. Meanwhile, we have the Israeli army saying that its soldiers are in full control of all communities along the border with Gaza. Bodies are being recovered in several kibbutz that are close to the border after Hamas launched that surprise attack on Saturday. Let's speak now to Al Jazeera's Charles Stratford. He's in Kfar Aza in southern Israel. That's one of those areas that the Israeli army has just been into and cleared of Hamas fighters. Tell us the scene there, Charles.
Yes, that's right, Laura. The Israeli military telling us that there was fighting up until the early hours of this morning in this village, a village that basically sits pretty much directly on the Gaza border. You can see the fence that runs on the western side of the village, and there's basically a big hole in it where it has been breached. There are bodies all over the village, what look to be Hamas or Palestinian fighters, now bloated by the sun, and lots of civilians as well. Many of those civilians still in the homes in which they were killed. The Israeli military saying that there are lots of foreign workers as well, they believe, were also killed in this attack. Many of the homes completely destroyed. What's so shocking is that, you know, people's lives, people's belongings are spread out across, you know, their lawns, where they've been blown out from these houses as they've been hit by explosives. That breach that I talked about is one of dozens, according to the military, the Israeli military. These gaps where Hamas fighters came through. Very interesting also to see one of these paragliders, a destroyed paraglider, there in and amongst the rubble also, which the Israeli military say was used by Hamas to cross into this village. You mentioned that the military are saying that they have now full control of Kfar Aza and villages and towns close to the Gaza border. Yes, that might be the case, but they are also warning that they believe there still could be Hamas fighters, Palestinian fighters, still at large, hiding in the countryside in this area. And interestingly, it was about an hour ago, we're hearing reports that we can't confirm of an incident of suggesting that there was ongoing fighting around the village of Nazim, which is directly to the north of the Gaza Strip. In terms of civilians in this area, absolutely no civilians left in Kfar Aza whatsoever. Those that weren't killed have left. But we've been in contact with somebody that lived through that nightmare for hours, describing how terrified she was hiding in her home. Massive amount of military here, as you can imagine. We've seen tanks, we've seen APCs. There's been both outgoing and incoming shelling as well. In the last few minutes, we had rockets fired out of Gaza that were intercepted behind me, we believe, by the Iron Dome. We're also hearing what sound to be either very large artillery pieces or Israeli tanks that are firing towards Gaza. There is the constant sound of drones above. The military here say they're in control of this place, but the scenes are utterly shocking and the situation remains very fluid and tense.
Absolutely. I mean, as the cameras, as the media enters these areas where the Hamas fighters launched their unprecedented surprise attack in the early hours of Saturday morning, when Israelis see these pictures of these small areas there with people just living in their houses, they're going to be shocked, aren't they? They've never seen these kind of images in Israel before.
No, this is it. I mean, Israel is in a state of shock. Of course, Gaza is in a terrible state of shock. You know, 2.3 million people being bombed left, right and centre in retribution for these attacks. But yes, talking about Israel, the people here are in shock and angry as well. We were in Stratford, which is a town close to pretty much on the Gaza border, about 2-3 k's from the Gaza border, further to the north from here earlier this morning. And we spoke to a man who was shockingly candid in the language he was using. He was like, we've got to go in and we've got to kill them. And he wasn't specific either. He wasn't specifically talking about Hamas. He was that angry, you got a sense that he was blaming the Palestinian people as well. And that, of course, is what is so dangerous about this. It fuels so much hate. He's like, we've got to kill them. We've got to stop their water. We've got to stop their electricity. We've got to stop their power. We've got to beat them. We can never allow this to happen again. So voices like that coming out of Israel are perhaps not surprising, but are of great concern, because this has done huge damage to any kind of potential, peace, eventual peace between Israel and Palestine.
Indeed. Charles Stratford bringing us those scenes from Kfar Aza on the border with Gaza in southern Israel. Thanks very much, Charles. Well,